Do you know that being busy blocks your success? And do you know how to fix that? Do you want to know how to fix that? If so, tune in and find out how.
You are listening to the Prosper Law Podcast. Learn how to reduce stress, have more time, and make more money. Come on in.
I'm Greg McCollum, and I built a 7-figure criminal defense law firm. I formed Prosper Law to show criminal defense law firm owners who are desperate for success how to grow from under $200,000 to $1 million and beyond. I'm Greg McCollum here with another edition of the Prosper Law Podcast. At Prosper Law, we teach and coach lawyers, criminal defense lawyers only, on how to grow their law firm so they have less stress, make more money, and have more free time. It's a system that works. It's something that I've done in my own life, and I'm here sharing it with you now. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. The irony or the trap of being busy is that being busy keeps you from being successful. If you, the business owner, if you, the entrepreneur, if you, the law firm owner, are busy, and you're busy, it's a trap because you think that means you're successful. You're so busy, so many people need you. Your law firm is in such demand that you're busy, and you're busy doing these tasks. And you've been taught that hard work equals success, and that the busier you are, the more successful you are. And so your day is crammed with all kinds of stuff that you're trying to solve and resolve, and you're the bottleneck. And so you're successful because you're busy. You're in demand. It's feeding your ego because you're so important that you're busy, and at the end of the day, you're wiped out and exhausted. And at the end of the week, you're so busy that even though you need a day of rest, if not two, that now you got to go in the office and be busier. And you think you're succeeding, but you're not. Do you know who is not busy? Okay? And if you read this stuff and look at it, the people that are not busy, Warren Buffett. Do you know who Warren Buffett is? He's considered the greatest investor in terms of market valuations, that sort of thing, with Berkshire Hathaway. I assume most of you, if you're listening to this, know who Warren Buffett is. Warren Buffett is not busy. Think about that. Another person that's not busy is Bill Gates. Bill Gates is not busy. He doesn't. He was busy and he was successful, and then he sat down with Warren Buffett once they became friends, and they looked at the schedule, and there was nothing on Warren Buffett's schedule but what we call white space. There were no appointments, no calls, nothing. Okay, and then Gates changed his. He goes, "I didn't know you could do this," and so he did that. I don't know how many years ago or decades ago when he changed it. So those people are not busy. Okay, so think about that. Somebody else that I suspect is not busy is Jeff Bezos. They're not busy, okay? And that's because being busy does not make them a billionaire. Being busy doesn't make their companies run. What makes their companies go is figuring out how to solve a problem for somebody else. Somebody like me, I ordered something on Amazon just this morning before I came in to shoot this. Makes my life better, all right? So I like it, I use it, and it's terrific. It actually makes my life a little less busy being able to do that. So one of the things that you have to look at is how do you become less busy? And I've talked about it before. I talked about it in my book, though I've gotten less busy since I published the book. So what do I do all day? Okay. Right now I'm here, creating this podcast, trying to help you get out of the rat race. But in my law firm, which I haven't been there this morning, I'm not going there this afternoon. I'm not going tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. I'm not going in that place tomorrow. I'm not really talking to anybody in the law firm tomorrow. Sometimes people have some questions and things, and lately it's been getting a little bit worse, so I'm trying to get that tamped down again. And then Thursday morning, I'm not going in there. I do go in at 1 o'clock on Thursday, and I think I stay till 5. And I think that's the longest stretch I work in the office on any given week. I also go in Friday because I like going in Friday morning. The office opens at 8:30. We have a stand-up huddle, and we do that at 8:45 to 9 o'clock. And I miss it. I miss it Monday. I miss it Tuesday. I miss it Wednesday. And I miss it Thursday. Every week, every work week, every week of my life, my team huddles, and some people are on the phone because they're headed to court, and sometimes non-lawyers are, doing a surrender at the jail. And so everybody that's available, whether they're driving or sitting in a parking lot waiting to go in a building, they get on that call. And the people in the office, we sit around or stand around and we go through what we go through every morning. So they're on the call. Who's not on the call is me. I'm not there. They did it Monday without me. They did it Tuesday without me. They did it Wednesday without me. They did it Thursday without me. They don't need me there. They know what they're doing. Okay? So I go in once a week because I think, I want to see it. I want to be there. I want them to see me, that, that I'm still alive and I'm still in control of the company. And so I go in Friday for 8:30 and I leave at 12:30. And I have 2 meetings there. I meet with Kelly every Friday at 10 o'clock. And then I meet with the client care team. I think that meeting's on Friday. And so because I got back in that meeting because the client care team really wasn't moving forward, they didn't have any goals, and so it just kind of fizzled out. So I got back involved in that. And I'm also in the litigation meeting, which I really don't need to be anymore because it wasn't really running right. It wasn't happening right. So I changed who ran it. I got somebody else to run it. That person, created a good agenda, and he runs through the agenda. And what used to take an hour and 20 minutes with limited productivity, he now can run through in 30 minutes usually. He can run through it in 30 minutes now because he's efficient and he knows what he's doing. So I put him in the place to run that meeting. So that's what things look like for me. Okay, and the reason for that is because of I try to maximize leverage and productivity. And one of the things I want to talk about is if you hire a business coach and you're a solopreneur, okay, you're a solo business owner, or maybe you have a staff member, maybe you have some virtual, staff, maybe you have some part-time, a combination of that. But you don't have a personal assistant, you don't have an executive assistant, then I think every business coach in the world will tell you, because you want to know, what do I need to do? I'm so busy. What do I need to do? How do I need to start getting out of this rat race? And I think every business coach out there will tell you, well, the first thing you need to do is get a personal assistant. And you think, no, I need to get work done. I need more time. And that's what the personal assistant is for, to do things that somebody else can do for you. And if you start thinking like that, to have, and the saying is who, not how. When you have an issue, you have a problem, you got something you need done, you don't think, how am I going to do this? And you don't look at your list and say, I got 19 other things on here. How am I going to get each one done? And how am I going to get them all done? That's a recipe for failure. It will not work. What you need to do is you look at that list and you think, okay, do you have to be a lawyer to do that? Do you have to have a college degree to do that? Do you have to have a certain skill set to do that? Or can virtually any halfway competent person in the world do it? So what's an example of that? Almost everything, okay? I would challenge you, if we were having a two-way conversation, to come up with something that somebody else couldn't do, because somebody else can do just about everything. And let me, even a stupid example is, say it's like, okay, your office opens every morning at 8:30, and when you get to the office, okay, the door is locked. So if I'm the business owner and I don't trust anybody and I got all kinds of issues, and I come every day, at 8:15 to unlock the door, and I'm the last to leave and I lock the door, as dumb as that sounds, then somebody else you can trust enough to give them a key, and they can be reliable enough to go there every day on time and unlock the door and turn the lights on. Okay? I think there might have been a time when I first opened it, I did that myself, because I did everything. Okay? And that's not what you want to do. And that's a silly example, but what needs to be done, who can do it? You start thinking like that, starts leading to success. Now, one of the things that happened with me is that, I got a little sidetracked, because as I started growing, I wanted to get my law firm, in heavy growth mode. And I wanted somebody that could do the day-to-day operations and run my law firm and run it like an efficient business, and get rid of my problems and solve problems and take care of things. So this is what I did. So I went out and recruited a chief operating officer, somebody who I thought had the qualifications, the integrity, the intelligence, the work ethic, and desire to do it. And it took a while to find this person, even though I'd known her previously. So I go out, I recruit her. She leaves her other career. I'm going to pay her, $100,000 to come join my firm with benefits, and this is going to be the solution. The other thing we started doing, if you've heard of it, is EOS, which is an Entrepreneur Operating System. And this is, if you read Gino Wickman's book, Traction, you know what I'm talking about. So we're going to have these quarterly planning meetings. We're going to take the world by storm, and this is going to be my success pattern. All right. Well, first of all, for EOS, right now I have 10 employees. I'm not doing EOS. I know some people that have maybe about that many employees or less, and they swear by it and they think it's working good. It didn't work for me. I had the wrong people in the seats. We weren't big enough to really have the problems that EOS solves. We're all in one office. We all communicate. Everybody knows what's going on. I just didn't need it. And I was spending, I can't remember how much it was. I think the quarterly meetings, cost me like $4,000 out of pocket. I was spending, I don't know if it's $15,000 a year on EOS, because we had a facilitator, we had the training, we had everything. So anyway, I just scrapped it. But getting back to the COO. So the COO comes in. So what she's doing is she's going to make this law firm look more like a law firm and be leaner. And if you're a business owner, whether you're a lawyer or not, and you're a business owner, your life kind of gets embedded in the business. And as it should, because there's certain things that you're paying for, getting taxed for, that are business expenses. And so it should be embedded to a certain degree. Well, her idea was she was going to clean it up, and she was going to get everything that wasn't strictly business out of the business. And this, it even came down to like files and stuff I had filed, that my personal files, that the people that worked for me all these years, they kept files for me. You give me a piece of paper, it's gone. I lost it. Okay. I don't know why, but I'm not a file clerk. I don't have time to be a file clerk. If I don't have any interest in being a file clerk. So a lot of my stuff, and I used to have $5 million worth of real estate. So all those files, all that stuff. So she's cleaning it out, because she's going to have a clear headspace. So she's going to clean up the office, the law firm. So she starts cleaning it up. So she takes all of my life problems, like paying bills, filing stuff that is really personal to me, everything like that. So she takes all of that, cleans up the law firm, dumps my life back on me. Okay? She dumped it on me, That's my problem. And her attitude too was that, well, that's not business. You should handle that. And the mindset, she didn't say this to me, but I understand it. The mindset is that, you're any good person would do this for themselves. If you can't do this for yourself, you're either lazy, or taking advantage of somebody, or some other made up reason. But what she doesn't understand, what she did not understand, what she will never understand is that's what success is made of, is who, not how. Now, she doesn't want to be the person that's my personal assistant. I respect that, but that wasn't the conversation. She doesn't know how this works. So my life is getting worse, okay? The law firm is improving, and we're hitting some growth targets. So in that regard, I'll give her credit. But so basically, for 3 years, my life got busier and worse, my personal life, okay? So what am I going to do about it? What do I know? What do I know? If I knew ahead of time about this and with some clarity, then I wouldn't have made the mistake to begin with. I wouldn't have been in that situation. I would have laid it out. So this is the way it's going to be. This is required. And if that's unacceptable, then let's talk about that, before I sign this contract with you with all these, provisions in it to get you to come to work with me. So if I asked her, what about my personal life being somebody that the law firm pay, because she doesn't want the law firm to pay as an expense for somebody to do work for me personally. She doesn't want that, because in her mind, that's not money well spent, okay? And so she's not concerned about what it does to my personal life, okay? So that's rational, but wrong. So then what do? Who do I ask? I can ask her, but I've already talked to her. I know the answer. I know her answer. I know what her answer is. And I even actually question this a little bit with myself, going, maybe there's something, maybe I'm having a problem here. So then, do I ask another lawyer? Do I ask a lawyer the answer? Well, think about this a minute. Why would you or I or anyone ever ask someone a question who doesn't know the answer? And a lawyer who doesn't have a multi-million-dollar law firm doesn't know the answer. But not knowing the answer, if you pay attention, not knowing the answer will never prevent almost anyone from from answering the question. It's the most amazing thing in the world if you observe it. Ask almost anybody anything, and they'll answer it. If I go ask, just to give a crazy example, if I go ask the guy, my car salesman who's selling the car, and ask him a question about astrophysics, he's probably going to answer it, okay? In some way. Very few people are going to say, I don't know. The people just won't say that. And I think I don't know why. They want to help or whatever. So I'm not going to go ask a lawyer this question because he or she, they don't know the answer. So I'm thinking about it, and I talk to my cousin, fairly regularly. And so I'm thinking, okay, he owned a business. He's making, I don't know, $50 million a year or whatever. But multi-million-dollar business. And so I asked him, I said, what, this thing is happening to me, and the person that works for me, she doesn't want to, whatever it was, make my hotel reservations or something. He said, what do you think of that? And we weren't really even talking about it. In other words, I didn't call him and say, all right, I got an issue I need to talk to you about. We were just talking about something else. And I just kind of threw that in there. And I said, asked the question. And I said, what do you think about this? And just off the cuff, his answer was, oh, talking about him, he said, oh, that won't fly. Oh, that won't fly. somebody that works for me not taking care of my life, to him, oh, that won't fly. And that's all he said. And so we talked about some other stuff. And then later when I hung up, I said, oh, that won't fly. And I thought, well, for me either. That's not going to fly for me either, okay? Because that's the answer. And there was no big buildup or anything, but he knows because he's busy, and so somebody's doing everything for him. And what does that do? That frees him up to think and to be able to make a rational decision, be able to see the future coming, before it smacks him in the face, okay? So there's several lessons here. One is ask people for advice, ask the people who know the answer. And they know the answer because they built and own, or built and owned and sold what you're trying to create. If they haven't built and owned, or built and owned or sold what you're trying to create, they don't know the answer. They can't help you, okay? And that is everybody in your life. If you sit back after this and you start thinking, like, how many, for example, criminal defense lawyers who own their own law firm have multi-million-dollar practices? No one. You don't know anyone with the answers, okay? And I'll give you the sales pitch. That's one of the reasons you should be in the mastermind, because guess what? You'll be in the room with those people for 2 days, and they have the answers, not because they're smarter than you, not because they're smarter than any of us. It's because they've been through it, they've solved it, they're solving it. So now, since I, got the assistant thing straightened out, my life is so much better. It's a lot better. For instance, like I was going through 2 moves. I lived in the same house for 30 years. I decided to sell it, so I'm moving. Okay, that's a lot. In addition, with our office, because the lease ran out, we're moving the office. So those 2 things. So just quickly, okay, I needed one of these little dumpster at my house. So what do? I call Kelly. Kelly's my firm administrator. She does the books. She does everything. She also manages the people. But she's also my personal assistant, and she doesn't mind doing it. So I call her. I need a dumpster. She does it all. She finds the company. She makes the phone call. She's going to pay for it. She comes back with 2 or 3 questions. How big and how long? That's it. This big and this long. No conversations. I could have spent an hour and a half trying to find a dumpster company, calling them calling me back, trying to figure out how to pay for it, trying to arrange. She did every bit of that. Okay. I've got a couple of chandeliers I'm going to move from my house and also from my office. So who's going to do that? Kelly. Get an electrician to move these chandeliers. That's it. So the next time I see it, the chandelier will be hanging there, okay? That's it. The lease for the new office, you got this back and forth with the realtor, back and forth. Who does that? Kelly, okay? I picked the building. I showed it to her. I talked to the realtor. We figured out how much it costs. Is that acceptable? Will that work? Done. She did every other thing. Every other thing is done by her. Somebody had sent I think a digital sign contract for something, and it wasn't the lease, it was something else. And she goes, did you see this? Have you signed it? I said, no. So she said, what do you want me to do? Sign it. It's a click sign. Sign it. Okay? Done. Now, also in working with some other people, this one person, because I tell everybody, email Kelly. Her email address is accounting@completelegaldefense.com. Email Kelly on everything. Anything that needs to be scheduled for me or you or whoever, email Taylor, la@completelegaldefenseteam.com. Okay? Taylor runs the calendar. Kelly runs my law firm in my life, okay? She also pays for everything. So somebody that I'm working with now, I'm starting to work with on a different thing, and he said, did you see this? Did you do this? Did you pay this or whatever? So I emailed him back because I've gone through this phase where I'm just send people these really gushy, nice emails. And I used to be just much more blunt. And I knew people would kind of hurt their feelings or something. But I'm kind of going back to just being blunt, okay? Because I send the nice email. Oh, by the way, if you don't mind, would you please consider and then people ignore it. So this is what I sent back to him. If you want to get paid and want anything to happen, copy Kelly on all emails. If you want to get paid and want anything to happen, copy Kelly on all emails. That's what I said. Guess what? She got a copy on the next one. Thanks, will do. Then I said, if you want anything to happen for me and me show up at a meeting, Zoom meeting, phone call, whatever it is, if you want anything to happen with me and you want me to show up for a meeting, copy Taylor on all emails relating to any meetings. Period. Done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't send me an email. You can send me the email, but you better copy those two people because those two people run my life. And since those two people run my life, 80% of my life is handled. And there's so many things that I don't worry about. When I sign off here, I go to my calendar on my computer, on my phone, I click through it and I look at it, there's my life. If it's not on that calendar, it's not happening. And okay, so these are things that you can do. It's not magic. It's important. This will change your life. So thank you for listening. At Prosper at Law, we help criminal defense lawyers like you get more free time, make more money, and have less stress. And the way you have less stress is by solving problems and having people solve problems for you. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for listening.
If you want to know more, go to prosperatlaw.com. We show criminal defense law firm owners how to reduce stress, have more free time, and make more money. Thanks for listening.